Charleston Coliseum. Lots to do. It's MetroNews Talkline. We're underway.
Do not attempt to change the station. You are surrounded.
We interrupt this program to bring you an emergency news bulletin. Repeat, this is an emergency bulletin. Keep your radio turned on.
From the studios of WVRC Media and the MetroNews Radio and Television Network, the voice of West Virginia, comes the most powerful show in West Virginia. This is MetroNews Talkline with Dave Wilson and TJ Meadows.
Check set line up link. Activated Telos telephone. Switch network control from Charleston to Morgantown.
Stand by. Q Dave and TJ. You're on. MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Good morning. Welcome inside the Encova Insurance Studios. Dave Wilson, TJ Meadows with you. Ethan Collins is our audio producer this morning. If you're listening in on one of our great radio affiliates across the state, Jake Link handles the video stream on the MetroNews TV app. We're on Facebook Live and YouTube as well. Coming up, we mentioned Senator Tarr. He's in studio. We'll talk to him in just a moment. Larry Pack, Jared Halpern, and the Stubblefield Institute is going to be hosting an event talking about data centers. Ashley Horst will get us the details a little bit later on. Jared Halpern with the latest from the White House as well. I promise. In fact, I've actually written it into the schedule today. We will get to the text line at 304-TALK, 304. Phones are open as well, 800-765-TALK, 800-765-8255. Morning, TJ. I've neglected the text lines the last couple of days.
But today, so it is written.
So it is written, so it shall be done.
Yeah, exactly. I saw that movie. That was a good. Yul Brynner was good in that movie.
Absolutely.
Was it Yul Brynner in that movie? I think, yeah. It was Yul Brynner.
Keeping an eye, Tulsi Gabbard is on Capitol Hill in front of congressional leaders this morning. So keeping an eye on that. Mark Wayne Mullen did survive his committee vote. I saw tweeted this morning, 8-7. With John Fetterman casting a key vote for in that committee.
Yeah, he and Paul got into it a little bit yesterday, which was kind of fun to watch. You know, Tulsi Gabbard yesterday, if you listen to her comments, she said, "It is not my job to determine whether or not a threat is imminent." And she kind of threw that back on the president in that, I'll give you the intelligence. The president decides. She got raked over the coals on that one a little bit. I did think she was kind of sidestepping there. Whether the boss took it that way or not, I don't know. But she it wasn't a bus. Maybe it was like a minivan or something, but it was a little bit of something. It's like she wanted to roll across.
Threw him under the minivan.
Yeah, threw him under the minivan.
So we're keeping an eye on that as well. Still kind of reacting and doing some postmortem on the 60-day legislative session, which wrapped up just under a week ago. Joining us in studio this morning, Putnam County Senator Eric Tarr. Morning, Senator.
Morning, Dave.
Morning, Senator.
Good morning,
There
Dave.
you
Thanks
are.
for having me on.
There you are.
Yeah.
First of all, basketball were you over at the arena last night?
Oh, yeah.
Packed in there last night.
It was incredible. Great energy, great sportsmanship, two really good teams slugging it out. And, then, of course, my brother, head coach down there for Winfield, seeing Ty Lawfrey back on the court after his battle with still in his battle with cancer, out there actually playing in a mask, on the court. So it's in order to cause his immunity is a little bit hampered because of chemo treatments, so it was fun. The interviews afterwards, me and my wife are still sitting up in bed watching interviews on our phone, on YouTube from the game. So it was a good night.
You ever just call your brother and forget that he's the coach for a second and say, "Man, if that Winfield coach would have just done this, this, and this." You ever find yourself in that conversation?
Well, it's not by accident if I do that, So I tell you what, though, we know our lanes. He's definitely the sports nut, way more than I am. I enjoy sports.
Yeah.
He's passionate about sports,
Yeah.
and he knows them. And I was talking to somebody here a minute ago here in the studio, which is back here in the green room, and was talking about, he gets text messages from major D1 coaches that everybody would know the name. You'd be out golfing with Travis, and wait a minute, I'm taking a call, and it'll be one of the
Nice.
D1 coaches from NCAA that just having a chat about some kid coming up, and they wanted to know if they knew anything about him type thing. So his network among coaching is incredible. And prior to coming to Winfield, he'd coached for 3 years at Tays Valley Christian.
Yeah, the prep school.
And within 3 years, they were top 25 in the country at Tays Valley Christian.
I loved going over there.
And that was a startup team at Tays Valley Christian. So Trav knows what he's doing. He knows how to put a team together, knows how to get people to buy in and believe.
Does he ever call you and go, "These senators don't know what in the world they're doing over there"?
He follows politics as close as anybody I know. He's one of the political nerds that has the session up all the time. If we're the committee's up, it's in the background, sessions going on, and he's always asking questions and prodding too and cutting jokes and stuff.
We need to have him in here next time and get them both. That'd be fun.
That could be interesting.
That happens from time to time. Yeah,
programming notes.
When we get the 8-second delay back next week.
Yeah, I would love to hear your show with Travis commenting on politics. Since I'm getting a comment on sports. So.
Putnam County Senator Eric Tarr in the studio with us. What was your takeaway from the 60-day session?
It's mediocre at best. I think for the session, it's for me it was one of the more disappointing sessions. And I've been up there since 2015. The first 4 years I was up there as a volunteer, as a policy advisor to the Senate Republican majority, and then ran in 18. So I've been serving since 19 after winning that election. But in all those times, we've always had an agenda coming in the Senate, except for the past 2 years. We got together as a group. We said, this is what the budget's going to be. Here's the major policies that we're going to put the money behind, what our major ideas are that we're going to try to get through. And then we go through, make sure we got hands in the air, that we got the power to get it done, and then go use the Senate and those numbers as a negotiating force. That has not happened in the past 2 years, and the policy shows it. So it's what's happened over the past couple of years, and this year, especially being an election year, is that it's become more about the politics than the policy within that majority. You got a fractured Senate leadership. So it's frustrating. So we did no harm. We come out, I think we negotiated, it came out with a negotiated budget between the House, Senate, and the governor as far as what it came down to. So we did no harm on that side of it. We got a lot of momentum, so doing no harm was incredibly important for the investments that are coming into West Virginia. I'm still in a role where, because of being in a lot of the negotiations that happened getting up to that point, where I've got the CEOs and the boards and all that stuff talk to me. And so one of my main things was just make sure we do not get in the way of what's coming. And so for that's a win.
That fractured part that you talked about, how do I want to phrase this? What's it going to take to get over that?
Leadership. So, it's I don't think we would be as fractured now if as we are, if we had somebody who could come in at the helm, the Senate president level, the major chair positions, and get everybody to buy in as a team. And so that effort to get everybody to buy in has not been seen. A lot of the policy that gets moved is directed behind the scenes by just a few people instead of bringing in the collective of the supermajority in the caucus. And so that creates friction. Policies moving on whose name's on an idea instead of what the idea is, that causes friction. So there's just a lot of faults in the leadership philosophy that are facilitating those fractures. And so we've seen when you've got strong leaders what can be done. When you got a strong leadership team that can be done, when you get the buy-in of a caucus, what can be done, and that'll come back. So we're in a low part of the cycle right now. I think in this majority, the majority's going to be here with Republicans for a very long time to come, and we're going to get it fixed.
Talking to Senator Eric Tarr, is that the difference between disagreements? Because there's disagreements all the time, and fractures. It comes down to leadership, because you could have the disagreements among a caucus, but you're still pushing in the same direction. I get the sense from you might be going 12 different directions at least. There is, or maybe there's no direction at all in the Senate right now.
There's no direction at all in the Senate right now. So there's it's every man for himself, everyone for herself, as case may be, kind of thing. So you'll have a few people who really trust each other, and those few people kind of move as a unit, and there's several of those units. So what needs to happen is us getting back to a policy effort and collectively deciding where those votes are. So the best idea should win. That's what should happen when you're up under this dome. The best ideas win. And so much of the policy making now is built around the politics instead of the policy. And so when you have a lack of trust and the people start voting on names, and you don't have the communication you should have because you can't trust that everything you're going to say is not going to go straight to somebody in a text message that's going to be designed to harm you because of who you are rather than what your ideas are. So that's kind of what we're dealing with right now. It's worse than an election year. It's easy to come in if you're somebody who's competing with the Senate to use those divisions against the Senate. So it weakens the Senate. We need somebody to come back and unify this bunch. And so, and I think that'll come around and happen because there's a lot of frustration right now.
Do you see the upcoming election as a cleansing mechanism of sorts to help refocus that leadership? I mean, there are 4 or 5 names out there right now, I think, that are already jockeying to try to be the Senate president next go around. I mean, let's just call it what it is. You've heard them, I've heard them. Does the election help crystallize that process and force some kind of reorganization?
I think you'll see some reorganization within sooner than later. I don't think there's any one clear person right now who has stepped up and said, I'm going to be the next Senate president, and with confidence knows that. There's a bunch of them that are hoping somebody steps up to take that role. You got to realize what that is. It's that mantle. If you're doing it for the right reason, you're going to be there year round. You're going to treat it like a full-time job. You're going to take the slings and arrows that come at the Senate as that person. And then you're going to make sure you got the back of everybody who's got your back there to carry it forward as a negotiating force. So that takes a lot, somebody who's willing to step up and take the time first, and then the responsibility second. The problems we've had is people chasing it for the title. Now, you don't have to do everything I just said, and you can have that title, and you get what we got right now. And so after the elections, I think it will be a different Senate. I think there's going to be some people lose some races that are sitting there now. And when that comes back together, I don't think that produces a clear Senate president yet. But I think it's going to change the discussion.
Eric Tarr joining us, Putnam County Senator. What was your biggest disappointment coming out of this session?
Oh, man. The biggest disappointment. The biggest disappointment, I think, was right there at the last session. It was a disappointment and also a bit of a spark of hope at the same time. Had to do around Rayleigh's Law. And Rayleigh's Law was a battle between policy and politics. And it was as loud a battle and as visible a battle as I've seen up there in a while. So it's the policy itself is sound policy. It is, we are trying to protect children from abusers that would use the mask of homeschooling as something to protect them from being caught in that abuse. That's what it is. It's not about homeschooling. Problem is it keeps coming up in homeschooling code. And so then homeschooling groups then take that as a shot at them. And that's not what it is. So this bill this session in the Senate was amended into a child welfare section of code. And when you put it in child welfare, it makes it a different story instead of being in homeschooling code. Same language, different section of code. It's about child welfare. That bill had a bunch of sponsors. It had the votes to go through Health Committee until Denise Morrissey and one of the homeschooling leaders showed up in that gallery, opposed to that being amended into that. The bill was amended into, and then sponsors fell off of it, didn't make it through Health Committee. So then they had to find another vehicle. Well, the next vehicle to find then had to go back in homeschooling code. There was not a child welfare section that you could amend it into by the rules, the way the process works. And so when that happened, there was enough of us that were really, really upset about that not going in child welfare section of code. And we had a lot of the homeschool community that was starting to realize, hey, this is not about us because it was going in child welfare section of code, except for the ones that have all the influence in that group that need a reason to say, hey, keep me here. There's something to fight. And so policy got in the way, got overruled by politics. But the spark that was hopeful, one of the sparks, is if you watch that Senate floor battle, in over 20 years, and the reason I say over 20 years is because I talked to several senators who've been around for a really long time who still aren't in office. Have you ever seen this? The chair, the president, ruled against the germaneness of that bill, which means that the amendment did not fit the title of the bill it was in, which means you couldn't go on. That ruling's been challenged before, but it's never been overruled. And 18 members came together and said, no, Mr. President, it's germane, and we overruled that chair. That is a political statement with regards to the way winds are shifting.
You guys spent that capital, though, and the House let you down.
They did. We really thought that because the House had voted to pass this thing a couple times, so we really thought that once that got over there, it was going to move. So if you and I said this earlier on a show here with Dave Allen earlier, and you guys here, is that if you at that time in the Senate, you could hear the House debate from all the computers in the Senate chamber when it was going over there. We were watching it close. regardless of which side of that issue you were on, it was on, and we were paying attention. And the fact that they let that die, I think, motivated those who are really advocates for that policy, irrespective of the politics. It's gonna be a priority for a bunch of members, and I bet you there's going to be at least 20 of them in the Senate, if not more, that it is going to be priority legislation for when we step back in next session.
Putnam County Senator Eric Tarr, next time you come by, bring your brother. We'll put it all on 8-second delay, and we'll see what happens.
I don't think you need to delay, but you're welcome to. So.
Just being careful. You get brothers in the studio. You never know what will happen.
You never know, but we're older now, so we're a little calmer than we used to be. So,
You're more seasoned.
We're more seasoned. That's right. And you can see the seasoning in the gray hair.
Hey, appreciate you stopping by. Thanks for sticking around.
Thanks for having me on. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Take a break. Back in a moment. Talkline from the Cove Insurance Studios.
Coal-based generation remains the backbone of West Virginia's energy portfolio, ensuring reliability, security, and affordable electricity throughout the region. Our coal plants are engineered for performance, designed to run most efficiently at or near a 70% capacity factor. This level of operation is not arbitrary. It's based on sound engineering principles, scientific analysis, and has been formally adopted by the West Virginia legislature as a reasonable target for optimal performance. When our coal fleet operates near that benchmark, it provides stable power to the grid, maintains cost efficiency, and supports thousands of good-paying jobs across our state. Coal generation also drives local tax revenue that sustains schools, infrastructure, and community services. Working in partnership with state leaders and the Trump administration, we're ensuring that our coal fleet remains modern, efficient, and ready to power West Virginia and beyond for decades to come. This message brought to you by the West Virginia Coal Association and Friends of Coal.
Boating season is almost here, and there's no better place to start your family's adventure than Lou Wendell Marine Sales. Family owned for over 40 years, Lou and his sons are West Virginia's largest Avalon pontoon dealer and true experts in boats, motors, and repairs. Explore their impressive inventory and score some of the best deals of the season right now. At Lou Wendell Marine Sales, they don't just sell boats, they sell family fun. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com and get on the water in style. After all, the weekend's almost here.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
At the Health Plan, we are here for you, and we have been one of the most trusted carriers for over 40 years. Headquartered right here in West Virginia, providing exceptional health coverage and local customer service.
The Health Plan, we are here for you.
Tens of thousands of hardworking West Virginians earn their living in our state's growing natural gas industry, including thousands for Antero Resources, West Virginia's top natural gas producer. Antero's investments are boosting our local workforce and small businesses. We're proud to give back and invest locally to support West Virginia workers producing West Virginia energy. But the Mountain State's best days are ahead, and Antero Resources is just getting started. Visit AnteroResources.com to learn more.
You're listening to Talkline on MetroNews, the voice of West Virginia.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
Across West Virginia, hospitals are always here, healing, helping, and standing strong for our communities. Hospitals save lives and build livelihoods. They're among our largest employers, with a passionate workforce of 54,000 West Virginians. Hospitals are economic drivers, contributing close to $17 billion to our state's economy and working to ensure access to care for all. From life-saving moments to wellness support, West Virginia hospitals keep our state healthy, our families strong, and our future bright.
Sunshine, open roads, and a new Toyota from Dan Cava Toyota World. Lease an all-new Camry for as low as $398 a month. All new Tundras now up to $8,000 off. All new Tacomas now up to $4,500 off, or lease as low as $399 a month. $7,500 off the new BZ or 0% financing for 72 months. We've got a Toyota for you at Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
It all comes down to this in Charleston. The 2026 West Virginia Boys High School Basketball State Championships presented by Chick-fil-A. Saturday, March 21st. Every possession, every roar of the crowd, every championship moment. Live on MetroNews Television, powered by GoMart. Watch on mobile, Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, LG TV, and select Samsung Smart TVs. Details at WVMetroNewsTV.com to get in the action.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
304 Talk 304 is the text line at 800-765-TALK, 800-765-8255. That is the phone number. State Treasurer Larry Pack going to join us in the second hour. He's got an op-ed. His thoughts on the just concluded 60-day legislative session. We'll talk to him about that coming up in the second hour. I've just been informed it'll be Greg Carey joining us from the Charleston Coliseum with an update on the boys basketball state tournament that is ongoing. You can follow that right now over at the website, WVMetroNews.com. University's playing right now, so if you want to say anything bad about Morgantown, today's the day to do it, TJ, because the University game is on WAJR in Morgantown today.
Okay, so we can feel free to kind of rip on Morgantown a bit.
If you have anything to say about Montague County Commissioner Tom Bloom, today's the day to do it.
Now that is an opportunity that had not yet came into my mind, but now it is. I'm just glad. Did Wiggs get his iced tea this morning? I mean, that's the big thing.
He did. I have confirmed he had. Wiggs gets Panera Bread breakfast and a large iced tea, unsweet iced tea in the morning. That's his thing, man.
I can respect that. As a guy who likes to eat the same thing every morning for breakfast, I can respect that.
What's your go-to?
Oh, it's getting bad lately. We were talking upstairs. I have fallen into a trap. Kind of like Nick Saban, he has 2 little Debbie cakes in the morning. I've been rating, my kids eat these things called Little Bites, chocolate chip muffins. Dad's been breaking open one of those and a cup of coffee, so it's really gone downhill.
Hey, don't feel bad because my wife buys those for us.
Yeah,
and
they're good.
That's like the in-the-car snack on the drive to work in the morning with a cup of coffee. Nothing wrong with that, man.
Well, I'm probably not going to be able to get them much longer the way the law is going around here. I'll have to drive over to Boyd County and figure out how to.
Have to get bootleg muffins?
Yeah. I'm going to Ashland, guys, to buy our muffins for the week.
We'll get the Bandit and Snowman. We'll make a run, man. Eastbound and down. 304 Talk 304.
I love it.
Let me get a couple of texts. Dave and TJ. Since West Virginia is a very red Republican state, shouldn't your Republican guest now provide a qualifier as RL, Republican liberal, Republican moderate, or Republican extreme right, just so our citizens understand where they stand within the party, suggests the texter. Okay, I like your tongue-in-cheek. I think there's some tongue-in-cheek there. We could probably use a few less labels, but I like the tongue-in-cheekness with which the texter points out the divisions within the supermajority right at the moment.
How about double R? Real Republican.
Real.
What a conservative used to be before all this populist madness.
Well, that would be Reagan Republican then, right? Double R?
Sure, Reagan Republican, real conservative. I don't care. But all this other stuff, that's not a Republican. It's not a conservative.
A gas tax holiday? Question mark? We'll talk about that next. Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
West Virginia Metro News, I'm Jeff Jenkins. Winfield High School basketball player Ty Lockery is getting a chemotherapy treatment today at Children's Hospital in Cincinnati, just a few hours after he played for the first time this season in last night's state tournament game against Ripley. His mother, Mary Beth Lockery, says there are many people to thank.
They've just included him and just shown him so much support, and I think that really has helped him along this journey and throughout this battle.
Talking about his teammates there, Winfield plays in the semifinals Friday. A purple invasion at the Charleston Coliseum.
For the first time in 24 years, the Riverside High School boys basketball team will make the short drive from Bell to the Charleston Coliseum and Convention Center to compete in the WVSSAC state tournament on Thursday. The Warriors will have a large group of traveling supporters on the way, according to Riverside principal Stephen Loftus.
The community has raised around $4,000, I believe, a little over $4,000 for students to go to the game and also to help fund some of the meals and that sort of thing for the basketball team.
Loftus said they have 250 tickets on hand for students. Riverside makes its return to the state boys basketball tournament on Thursday at 1 o'clock. Radio coverage of every state tournament game is available on the Metro News Radio Network and WVMetroNews.com. I'm Daniel Woods, WVMetroNews.com.
Marshall President Brad Smith says university doesn't want to get into a long, drawn-out legal battle over Title IX. That's why they've changed their decision on the swimming and dive team. More at our website. You're listening to Metro News. For 40 years, the voice of West Virginia.
There's a lot of noise out there about the market and the economy, but what's really important to you and your future? I'm Shelley Hustle, member of Huntington Bank's local wealth team right here in West Virginia. Join us for Money Minutes this Thursday at 3:45 on Hotline as we discuss the most important topics and what they mean for you, your family, and your business. Join us on Thursday for Money Minutes, providing insight into the market and how it will impact us right here at home.
If you have a child who's a junior in high school in West Virginia or know someone that does, please listen up. Here's your opportunity to win a full scholarship from West Virginia Wesleyan College that includes room, board, tuition, and fees. The 19th Annual West Virginia Scholar Program is presented by ZMM Architects and Engineers and the West Virginia Farm Bureau. The deadline is May 3rd. For details, go to WVMetroNews.com to apply. That's WVMetroNews.com. Remember, application deadline is May 3rd.
Clarksburg police say a 16-year-old boy is dead after a single vehicle crash on U.S. Route 19 happened in the Edgewood Addition Wednesday morning. A Montague County family active in 4-H getting help from the community after a devastating fire earlier this week. Blacksville resident Caitlin Wilson says the family lost everything.
The family is very involved in the community. They are in 4-H. They have suffered a house fire that started from a tool shed.
You can read more this morning at WVMetroNews.com. From the Metro News Anchor Desk, I'm Jeff Jenkins.
Greg Carey will join us a couple of minutes from now. We'll get an update from the boys basketball state tournament over at the Charleston Coliseum, a few blocks away. Spring Mills and University on the court as we speak, as the big schools finally taking the floor. Quad A quarterfinals today, Single A semifinals on tap today. We'll get an update from Greg coming up just a moment. I turned to my unofficial, unpaid financial analyst, financial advisor, TJ Meadows. Did I see oil prices were $119 a barrel at one point yesterday?
Yeah, it went way up. Brent right now, which is international crude, which is important because as we heard from Jim Cruz yesterday, we don't necessarily have the right crude for our refineries here in America. Right now it's $111.81.
Whew. Oh, if I only own an oil well or two.
I'm going to tell you.
I digress. In the meantime, as the war with Iran continues, there was actually a strike on a major natural gas field in Qatar yesterday. All of this is driving energy prices up. You're feeling it at the pump, and the Trump administration is thinking about taking steps to relieve some of that pressure. What about a federal gas tax holiday? Well, we have questions about the idea. So does the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget. The committee's Senior Vice President and Senior Policy Director Mark Goldwine joins us on MetroNews Talkline this morning. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing well. We appreciate you taking some time. This a good idea to give folks across the country some relief at the pump with a federal gas tax holiday?
It's a good idea to try to find ways to give relief at a pump. But the gas tax holiday is not it. It would save Americans very little money at a pretty large cost to the federal government and to the Highway Trust Fund that's building our roads and bridges.
Talk to us about that Highway Trust Fund. Where's it at financially? It's not something we talk about a lot.
Right. So here's how it works. Highway spending is paid for out of the gas tax. But the gas tax is already not covering the cost. And so that trust fund is projected to run out by 2028. If we were to, say, do a one-year gas tax holiday, it would run out in 2027, June of 2027, in fact, because we'd be taking that gas tax revenue that is funding roads, that's funding bridges, that's funding repairs, and it would just kind of, poof, make it disappear.
So, Mark, as far as the federal gas tax goes, what's gas right now, $3.50 a gallon here in West Virginia? About. How much is that going to actually save me on the gallon?
Yeah, I mean, look, the gas tax holiday would save about 13 cents on the gas. 18 cents a gallon. But probably less than that because the tax is 18 cents. But if we cut that tax, oil producers and gas companies, et cetera, they're going to respond by raising their pre-tax price a little bit. So maybe it's going to save you not 18 cents, but 10 cents or 12 cents a gallon. In total, probably your household spending is going to be about 0.1% lower than it otherwise would have been.
Couldn't we do this? I mean, why couldn't Washington do this if they found an offset somewhere? I mean, that might be hard for Congress to figure out, but you make that decision, give the American public a break, and cut back somewhere else. Why couldn't they do that?
They could. They could find a way to pay for this. They could pay for it either with other spending cuts or an alternative source of revenue. And that would stop it from adding to the debt, and you could put that money in the Highway Trust Fund. But again, we're talking about something that's not going to save Americans very much money to start with. As I said, sort of at maximum, we're talking about 18 cents a gallon. But then once you account for the higher gas prices and the fact it's probably going to feed into other inflation, we're probably talking about the equivalent of less than half that. So 0.1% of your total payments. It's just not a big number, and I'm not sure it's worth, losing $20 billion or more, $20 billion for 6 months over.
Mark, does this really come down to, we talk about this all the time, policy versus politics. The politics of it is the White House and the Trump administration has to show it's doing something to help folks with the price at the pump. This would be doing something. Whether the policy is sound policy or not, that's a totally different question.
I agree with that. But there are some things that are both good policy and good politics. For example, the administration, I think, just sort of suspended the Jones Act, which basically forbids us from shipping from foreign countries, and that's a big problem for places like Hawaii and the Caribbean, et cetera. That's going to lower gas prices. Looking at the Strategic Petroleum Reserve and some sort of future contracts to get more fracking and more drilling and things like that, that can help lower prices. Figuring out how to actually kind of manage the war in Iran so that oil is protected. Those can lower prices. I think some of these things can be good politics and good policy. The gas tax, you're right, gas tax holiday, maybe it's good politics, but it's just bad policy, and it's not actually going to save us very much money.
Let's think about this in a non-war context, because you brought up insolvency issues with that highway trust fund. Minus the war, if I'm reading this right, it's set to go broke, I believe, in 2028. So do we need to raise the gas tax anyway in order to keep the fund solvent?
Right. So that's the rub of it all, is the gas tax as is isn't covering the highway spending. So as I see it, we have sort of three choices. Choice one is we raise the gas tax. I'm not sure that's the right approach because cars are becoming more fuel efficient. There's a lot more electric cars. And so the gas tax, a raise could help in the short term, but it's not a long-term solution. Option two is reduce the spending. And I think there's places where we're spending too much and where we're wasting a lot of time, but that takes a lot of time to do thoughtfully. And option three is come up with a new source of revenue. And this, I think, is the most promising idea. We could replace the gas tax, for example, with a annual registration fee that's based on the weight of your car. And so for individuals, it'd be tiny, but for big companies that are using trucks to ship all across the country, the ones that are actually, breaking the highways with their weight, they'd pay a substantial amount for use of the highways. Or there's a vehicle mileage tax, or we could look at a oil import fee. I think there's lots of ideas out there to replace or supplement the gas tax with new revenue. And separate from any holiday issues, we ought to be looking at that, and pretty soon.
Mark, we're talking to Mark Goldwine with the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget. This is a broader question, but I'll go ahead and kind of toss it out there to you. In the midst of all this, I saw reports this morning, the war with Iran, the White House is going to be seeking $200 billion in supplements to fund this war. Obviously, war is very expensive. A couple of months ago, we were talking about not being able to extend ACA tax credits because of fiscal responsibility. I guess that my question to you, Mark, is how do we make these two things work together? Because those are very conflicting views coming from the White House.
Yeah, look, $200 billion is an awful lot of money. And if we need it to win a war. Maybe we need it, but we ought to be careful in what we're asking for, and we got to find a way to pay for it. Same thing with the ACA subsidies. I think those would have cost $300 billion over 10 years to extend, and maybe that was worth it in some form. But those subsidies, a lot of them were going to very high earners. A lot of them were kind of going through passing through the insurance companies. So if we're going to extend those subsidies, we ought to do it in a more efficient way, and we ought to again pay for it. So my philosophy isn't you can't do stuff that costs money, but you got to spend your money efficiently, and you got to pay for it. So we're making the debt lower, not higher than it otherwise would be.
Well, speaking of that debt in general, Mark, I see very little, if any, sign that any party, any official in Washington is taking our growing debt seriously. It continues to expand, and at some point, I guess we'll hit Armageddon. But are you seeing anything that makes you think that we're taking this matter more seriously? Because I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's some growing interest in understanding the problem. Something that makes me a little bit optimistic is I do think that we're seeing a lot of Republicans and Democrats rally around the idea that we ought to reduce our deficits to 3% of GDP. And that's like a lot more realistic than balanced budget, and it's enough to be sustainable. On the other hand, I've not yet seen very many members that are willing to do the really hard stuff that it would take. And that's going to include higher taxes. And we can do it efficiently by cutting tax breaks, but it's going to include more revenue. And it's going to include lower spending, especially on our largest programs, which are Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and increasingly actually veterans benefits, plus defense. If we're not willing to look at all areas of spending and all areas of revenue, we're not going to fix this problem. And while I'm seeing some improvement, I'm not yet seeing politicians ready to really take that next step and show leadership.
Mark Goldwine, Senior Vice President, Senior Policy Director for the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget. Appreciate the insights this morning. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We'll get an update from the Charleston Coliseum Boys State Basketball Tournament next.
If you have a child who's a junior in high school in West Virginia or know someone that does, please listen up. Here's your opportunity to win a full scholarship from West Virginia Wesleyan College that includes room, board, tuition, and fees. The 19th Annual West Virginia Scholar Program is presented by ZMM Architects and Engineers and the West Virginia Farm Bureau. The deadline is May 3rd. For details, go to wvmetronews.com to apply. That's wvmetronews.com. Remember, application deadline is May 3rd.
Some relationships just work better with trust, reliability, and great communication. That's why more West Virginians are choosing CityNet Gig Fiber. Fast, symmetrical speeds, no contracts, no data caps, and local teams monitoring the network around the clock. Plus, for a limited time, new residential customers can get 50% off any internet plan for a full year, with plans starting as low as $25 a month. Check availability at your address. Visit citynet.net today. CityNet connects, protects, and perfects.
Looking for a career that truly matters? Healthcare offers stability, great benefits, and careers that are in demand right now. From patient care to technology and support roles, healthcare careers offer flexibility and opportunity. Not sure where you fit? Take the quick healthcare career quiz at explorehealthcareerswv.com. Discover the path that's right for you. Healthcare careers, where passion meets purpose.
You're listening to Talkline on MetroNews, the voice of West Virginia.
When I was heavy, being on my feet all day seemed like torture. It makes you feel defeated. I'm just going to be like this for the rest of my life. But then I thought, I'm done acting like that. I'm not going to be like that anymore. Bariatric surgery at WVU Medicine helped me lose 265 pounds. It's always been my goal to have my own place. I want everyone to feel welcome here. I would never have been able to do all these things before without WVU Medicine.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
All the sports West Virginia is talking about.
Nikki Izzo-Brown, coach of the nationally ranked WVU women's soccer team.
I think they're just having a very good understanding of each other.
Join Kyle Wiggs, Brett Howe, and Coach Hunter weeknights for Sportsline on Metro News Television. Available on mobile, Roku, Fire TV, smart TVs, and online at wvmetronewstv.com.
On the next State of Minds. I came here to Morgantown, the WVU. I wanted to play football. Tried to walk on, but I was humbled very quickly. So I joined the WVU forestry team. What my father taught me was the importance of hard work and the importance of sweat equity.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
304 Talk 304 is the text line. 800-765-8255 is the phone number. We'll get some texts coming up next segment. Larry Pack will join us at the top of the hour. Boys basketball state tournament continues over at the Charleston Coliseum. It is Quad A quarterfinals today. Spring Mills and University on the floor as we speak in the fourth quarter. Spring Mills leading University 53-41. Greg Carey has been there for every game and will be there for every game through the championships on Saturday. He joins us on MetroNews Talkline this morning. Greg, good morning. When we spoke yesterday, we said AAA might be the deepest field this year. And I think that proved right with the games we saw yesterday. Tight games throughout the day.
Yeah, and really the two tightest games being the 2 versus 7 and 1 versus 8 seeds. So just to kind of showcase that depth, very valiant performances from both Shady Spring and a 2-point loss to North Marion, and a game that the Tigers led for the majority of and just fell short on a second chance basket in the final seconds from the Huskies' Maddox Badson. And then Chapmanville, the top seed, rightfully so, very much looked the part in the first half and building a 17-point lead against Robert C. Byrd. But the Eagles shot better than 50% in that game, made several second-half runs, and really, made the thing interesting down the stretch, got as close as 5 with a minute and a half to go, putting some pressure on the Tigers. And Chapmanville hurt its cause by missing a lot of free throws. Otherwise they would have been able to play with a little bit more of a comfortable lead, but still tip your cap to Robert C. Byrd for a very valiant effort. And then in the nightcap, obviously an emotional win for Winfield. They were very defensive-minded against Ripley, held the Vikings to 33 points, and they will next get a crack at Chapmanville on a Friday semifinal.
Yeah, that emotion last night when Ty Lofrey was first announced. He was the first player announced for the Winfield roster. Got into the game early, made a play to save a ball from going out of bounds, and that brought the crowd to its feet.
Yeah, and got into the game early, got into the game late, and you could see the teammates of his, really feeding off that emotion. And obviously it was a very emotional scene inside the Charleston Coliseum, and rightfully so, as Winfield and Ty have both, been through a lot of adversity, obviously, and, many things more important than the result of a basketball game, but they've kind of used it as a team. The Generals had to galvanize themselves and, realize what's important, and they're playing for a bigger purpose. And obviously we know that at this time of the year, you not only have to be, lucky and good, but when you find a little bit of extra incentive and you're playing for something bigger than basketball, that can generally bode well, and it has for Winfield up to this point.
Talking to Metro News Sports' Greg Carey. Greg, today the big schools take the floor for the first time. We got the Class Quad A quarterfinals. Talk about the depth in AAA. Quad A is a very deep field this year, and there may be 6, 7, 8, maybe all 8 teams that could make a run this year.
And we're seeing a pretty decent game here in the first quarterfinal matchup. Spring Mills has led throughout this matchup with University, largely because of its defense. The Hawks have made a bit of a fourth quarter run, but they've missed some opportunities to draw closer. They've had a little bit difficult time scoring, and that necessarily hasn't always been the case for University. Even in some of their losses, they're generally able to score at a pretty high rate. So kind of shows you the defensive tenacity there of Spring Mills, and we know some of the athletes that they have on that side of the ball. And then obviously the next quarterfinal to follow here with Morgantown and Riverside, and the Warriors making their first appearance on this stage since 2002. So you would expect them to have a strong backing, but they're going to have a tall task against the Morgantown team that has become accustomed to ending their season here in Charleston and usually doing so either in a semifinal or on championship Saturday. So certainly won't be an easy game for Riverside. And then looking forward to what should be a dandy of a 4-5 matchup later on tonight, I think, between Parkersburg South and Washington, two teams that have enjoyed outstanding regular seasons. The Patriots, we know to their credit, they have a victory over Spring Mills, and have been one of the top teams certainly in the Eastern Panhandle all season. And then the Patriots have one of the more prolific scorers in the state in Harry Silvas.
Got those, and we've got the Class Single A semifinals. Greater Beckley Christian takes on East Hardy. Later today, it'll be Tucker County versus Tug Valley to set the championship game on Saturday. We've got all of the championship coverage over at the website, WVMetroNews.com, with Greg's recaps, Joe Bricato's video highlights, and you can watch all 4 championship games free of charge, no subscriptions necessary, no one-time subscriptions, nope, free, the way high school sports should be, over on the MetroNews television app coming up on Saturday. Greg, see you at the arena after a bit, buddy.
All right, man, have a good one.
You as well. We'll get to your text next. This is Talkline from the Cove Insurance Studios.
Located in the heart of West Virginia, Bridgeport is the place to play. Endless indoor and outdoor recreation opportunities, including the Bridgeport Complex, coupled with a dynamic food scene, make Bridgeport the perfect getaway destination for couples and families. Explore unique shopping and pick from a wealth of lodging options to find something perfect for your needs. Explore the heart of West Virginia in Bridgeport. Learn more about all there is to do at greater-bridgeport.com.
Tens of thousands of hardworking West Virginians earn their living in our state's growing natural gas industry, including thousands for Antero Resources, West Virginia's top natural gas producer. Antero's investments are boosting our local workforce and small businesses. We're proud to give back and invest locally to support West Virginia workers producing West Virginia energy. But the Mountain State's best days are ahead, and Antero Resources is just getting started. Visit AnteroResources.com to learn more.
Golf Week called Pete Dye Golf Club one of America's best modern courses. Golf Digest recently called Pete Dye one of America's 100 greatest courses, and Pete Dye calls it 18 of the most exciting and memorable holes I've ever built on one course. Pete Dye Golf Club invites you to join the only course named after the legendary designer himself. National, corporate, and local memberships available now for a limited time. Visit PeteDye.com to learn more. Come play where the Mountaineers play at Pete Dye Golf Club.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
It all comes down to this in Charleston. The 2026 West Virginia Boys High School Basketball State Championships presented by Chick-fil-A. Saturday, March 21st. Every possession, every roar of the crowd, every championship moment. Live on Metro News Television, powered by GoMart. Watch on mobile, Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, LG TV, and select Samsung Smart TVs. Details at WVMetroNewsTV.com to get in the action.
When I was heavy, being on my feet all day seemed like torture. Makes you feel defeated. I'm just gonna be like this for the rest of my life. But then I thought, I'm done acting like that. I'm not gonna be like that anymore. Bariatric surgery at WVU Medicine helped me lose 265 pounds. It's always been my goal to have my own place. I want everyone to feel welcome here. I would never have been able to do all these things before without WVU Medicine.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
Text line 304-TALK-304. We'll get to some text in just a moment. Want to remind you, though, Scrolling quickly. The West Virginia Lottery is coming to a town near you with the Back to Roots promotion tour. 40 stops means 40 chances to win. Every $5 in-store purchase gets you an entry for a chance to win cash and great prizes. So put your best 80s gear on and join the tour. Visit WVLottery.com for details. 18 plus to play. Please play responsibly. Text line 304-TALK-304. Hey, guys, are you all in favor of this Iran war? Ooh, loaded question at the end of the hour. I will answer it briefly like this, TJ. I am obviously not privy to intelligence reports, to assessments, to what the leaders and the Joint Chiefs of Staff are privy to, what Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, is privy to, what the President is privy to. Mm-hmm. I don't think I can tell you with proper knowledge, am I for it or against it? But I will say this. If you are going to get into it, you can't half go into it. Mm-mm. This has to be complete and absolute victory, and by that I mean Iran cannot operate as any sort of a military threat after this. So if we're going to go into it, which obviously we have, it has to be taken to completion, and that could take a while.
Iran has a long history of, look, they don't like us. Period.
Sure.
They have a long history of trying to mess with the United States, just to put it bluntly. Sponsored state terrorism, Hezbollah, all these different groups. Bad people. You deal with them now before they get a nuclear weapon, because you won't be able to deal with them after. Mm-mm. It'll be North Korea. So I don't have all the intelligence either, but if we have to go in there and do what we have to do and bomb the cities and the country in order to stabilize that situation, absolutely. I don't want boots on the ground, but in what we're doing, I think they had it coming. I think they had it coming. I'm sorry.
And do I have...
No, I'm not sorry. I think they had it coming.
And do I have trepidation about the cost? Certainly. The impact to the economy, the impact to energy prices, all the above. Do I want boots on the ground like you said? No. I don't want to see the United States pulled into another 20-year war where you have military personnel on the ground for the next 2 decades. But if you're going to go into it, again, you have to take it to its end.
Yeah.
And we've not done that in the Middle East in my lifetime.
The rub here is that Trump is so hyperbolic on so many other things and has such a casual relationship with the truth on so many other things that when he does something like this, he pays for the sins that he's already committed. And people don't want to get on board with that because they're not trusting of the president. If this had been like a Bush or any other Republican, I don't know that you would be having the kinds of conversations that you have given Donald Trump.
I think that is a fair point, and I'll add to that, because of everything you said, and add, it's Donald Trump, so there's never a, well, let's see where this goes. You're either all with him or all against him, right? So if he does this and you're an anti-Trump, you're not going to like the thing. You're not going to be for it. And there's those who will say, well, if he does it, they're going to be with it. There are a few somewhere in the middle who goes, well, let's see where this goes, or let's look at this logically. But that doesn't happen often when it comes to Donald Trump.
Well, as I said on another matter earlier this week, time is a great thickener of things. And 20 years from now, we'll be better able to answer your question. That's just the way it goes.
Okay, we'll give you the answer to your question 20 years from now. March 19th, 2046. If the good Lord's willing and the creek don't rise.
Amen.
All right. Coming up, Larry Pack. It's Talkline on MetroNews for 40 years, the voice of West Virginia. Hoppy Kercheval, 5:55 a.m. How early did you get in that day, by the way?
Probably 3:30.
How long did you do sign-on shift?
I signed on like 7 years.
Not all.
6 days a week for 7 years.
Lightweight.
I know. Couldn't do it now. Now when I wake up at 3:30 is to go to the bathroom. And go back to bed.
Welcome to the 2 o'clock hour, Metro News Midday, powered by Salango Law. Visit salangolaw.com on a Wednesday, and I apologize because Stephanie Pauly is our producer, one of the producers of the show, and normally she has everything. We have a thing we call the run sheet, where we have who we're calling and what we're doing and so on. And so and Stephanie, I don't even know whether you know this. I did the run sheet today, and I put the wrong date on it. I put 2025 on it. Because how many of us in modern day actually write the date out anymore? I mean, you did it when you were in school. You did it back when people wrote checks and whatever. This may have been the first day that I have written the date down, and I was responsible for putting together the sheet. And my co-host, the lovely and talented AB, starts the show by saying January 24th, 2025, because she read it directly off the sheet. And it is indeed the year of our Lord, 2026.
Oh, yeah, he did find something out. Something, you're related to Thomas Jefferson?
Well, no, I'm not related to Thomas Jefferson, but I am related to Samuel Kercheval, who was a historian who...
I'm going to tell you something about Samuel Kercheval. Him and Jefferson out smoking corn silk. Kercheval told him, Thomas, I don't know about this country. Might want to start again.
He could.
So I don't have a monitor here, so I really can't see what happens at the beginning of the show. Mm-hmm. So at what point do I pop up? When the music starts and Mr. Announcer comes on?
Yeah.
So they see all the little panic things that I do that I'm still in the process of setting up?
Yes. They see you shuffle about uncomfortably. They see you blow the dust off your headphones. They see you put in like 2 cough drops at the same time.
Oh, yeah. I don't do 2 at the same time. Yeah. Okay. All right. I don't know that. I should probably... Now, these shows are archived, right? So I can go back and watch them.
Yes.
So I could live this show in real time and then go home and, when I say something to Linda like, hey, did you hear when I did this? And she, I don't watch it. Well, let's get in front of the TV and watch me do it again for 3 straight hours.
Yes, it's archived just like the audio podcast.
Ah, that's right.
And see, this is the thing that gets the NCAA in trouble. Excuse me. When it goes to court here. Is there a clock or not? Greg, we talk about the clock all the time. Mm-hmm. If he began in 2019, the clock should have run out, whether he's played the 4 years or not. And that's part of the argument because some guys go right through the clock, right? TJ Finley, we've mentioned many times on this show. 7th team coming up this year. He's playing for Incarnate Word. He's played 7 seasons at 7 different schools. Now, why hasn't his clock started? Why doesn't he have the 5-year clock? So if you're Aguilar, I get it.
He just bouncing him off the ropes. Somebody save this man. Oh, my Lord. Oh. Very nice, very nice. He hit him with everything he didn't want.
Ten seconds remaining.
Going to be a direct snap here.
Snap back. It's Tyler. Tyler fakes the run. He throws. He's got an open man. Pass top 10. 5. End zone. It's a touchdown. Pulled in by Nestor. 3 seconds left.
Are you kidding me with the play call right there by Kevin Whiteman? Again, forget the game-winning field goal. Whiteman says, we're going to try and win this thing right now. The direct snap to Tyler sucked everybody up, and Nestor slips behind. What an unbelievable gutsy play call, and then perfect execution by these Falcons.
Things aren't always going to be great. And sometimes, you can work really, really hard and it's still not great. You're still not successful. But, if you continue to do it, one way or another, things are going to be, work out. You're going to be successful. And it may not be in the world's eyes, but, God's made us this way. He's blessed us with so many things. And I think that's one of our attributes that we need to have is we're going to continue to work. We're going to continue to work hard. And if it doesn't work out exactly how we want, just keep plugging away because God's got better plans.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Second hour of MetroNews Talkline. Dave and TJ in the Charleston studios, Charleston Encova Insurance Studios. Glad you are part of our day. If you are listening in on one of our great radio affiliates across the state, or if you're watching on the MetroNews TV app, Facebook Live, and YouTube Live as well. Jake Link handles all the video productions via the MetroNews Broadcasting Suites back in Morgantown. Ethan Collins handles the radio side of things. Text line is 304-TALK-304. The phone number is 800-765-TALK, 800-765-8255. Jared Halpern joins us later this hour, the latest from Washington, D.C. and Capitol Hill. Also, we'll tell you about an event coming up hosted by the Stubblefield Institute, Data Centers in Our Backyard, Jobs, Infrastructure, and Community Impact. We'll get to that coming up bottom of the hour. State Treasurer Larry Pack, quite frankly, stole my idea, TJ.
Oh, yeah?
Well, it wasn't like it was an original idea. We did Good, Bad, and Ugly on Monday on the legislative session, and he wrote an op-ed, The Good, Bad, and Ugly of the 2026 legislative session. He joins us on MetroNews Talkline this morning. Good morning, Larry.
Hey, good morning. How are you guys?
Hey, I'm doing well. Appreciate you joining us. So, from your seat, you watched the 2026 legislative session, as did we. So, what was the good, bad, and ugly, Larry?
Well, I'm sorry I missed your show on Monday. We were taking a little bit of a reprieve away from the legislature, so I went for fresh air on Monday instead of Metro News. So my apologies.
I don't blame you.
Well, I think that when you think of the good, any movement on reducing taxes is always good. So I applaud the governor's 5%. So Governor Morrissey continued with the Governor Justice plan to move us towards a lower personal income tax to get us first competitive, and then maybe at some point in the future to be able to eliminate it. So I thought that was a good step. Hope Scholarship got a lot of conversation during the session, and I thought the end result of that to change the payment structure, take some pressure off the budget, I thought that was good. I applaud the House of Delegates. I think they worked really hard to try to get some movement on jobs, some movement on economic development. We've lost a lot of momentum over the past year or so, and so they're trying to get that back. So I applaud them for their efforts. So I think that's kind of good. And I'll also say that our legislators worked hard. There is no question that they put forth a lot of effort over those 60 days. I've got a lot of friends in the legislature, and they absolutely busted it to try to do things to move West Virginia forward. But it's really difficult to do that. I'll kind of jump to the ugly. I think it's really difficult to do that when the three branches are not working together. And so where the House came in with a plan and really tried to work, and really did work the plan, they didn't have any partners. And you can't dance if you don't have partners. And so the ugly, without a doubt, is the infighting in the Senate. That I guess I'm getting a little bit older these days. It's a lot like middle school. I can't run your bill because I won't run this bill because this person's on it versus that person is on it. Kind of a lack of a plan. And then really, if you go downstairs, most of that plan was small ball stuff, right? So it's a 3% raise for teachers and public employees, which is a good thing, right? They deserve more money, but 3% over 2 years, 1.5% per year, that does not get us out of 50th place with respect to teacher pay or teacher compensation. So not a lot coming out of the other two branches, and so I think that's kind of why we got what we got. We got some singles, which are good things, but we didn't seem to from my approach, my viewpoint, we didn't do anything to transform government. We didn't do anything to really emphasize jobs, to emphasize the challenges we have in public education. So again, we have a lot of work to be done. Hopefully, we'll have some bigger ideas and bigger push next session.
Larry, you know numbers better than almost anyone that I know. How would we have paid for it if we would have went deeper, a better increase for teachers, or returned more money in the form of a further tax reduction?
Well, I think, the process that was set up under Governor Justice, under, Senator Blair and Speaker Hanshaw, was that the further PIT increases would come from growth. And so the idea, the thought process, number one, is we will focus on jobs. We will travel the country. We'll travel the world telling the story about West Virginia and doing everything we can to get people to come to West Virginia, because we understand more growth equals more revenue for the government. Then we can reduce those taxes. We did not have a plan to de-emphasize jobs and decrease taxes. So I think the way that we suggested when we came out in November with our plan was that we would first emphasize teacher pay, get more money in the classroom. So if every teacher makes at least $50,000 with a $2,000 increase, if you make more than 50, that was about if I remember the numbers right, about a 60 or 70 million all-in spend. We also put forth President Trump's plan on no tax on tips and no tax on overtime, which the legislature did not pass. So we did not pass a bill in conformance with the Big Beautiful Bill Act. That's probably was another $20-25 million. We could have done that within $100 million. We could have done that out of surplus. We didn't. We had the money to do that. A determination was made not to do that, go in a different direction. So we're still 50th in teacher salary. We're still $2.1 billion away from eliminating personal income tax or thereabouts. So we've got a long way to go on personal income tax. The only way we're going to move that forward is by growing West Virginia's economy. Therefore, we got to focus on jobs. We have to focus on education.
State Treasurer Larry Pack joining us here on MetroNews Talkline. Larry, now that Hope Scholarship is fully funded, it is now fully universal at this point. Does the legislature need to turn its priorities toward public education and address, A, the financial issues, but B, also the tremendous amount of regulation that public education is faced with year in, year out?
I don't think we have the liberty to just do one, which is why I spend a lot of time learning about public education, talking about public education. We have to do both. We've got 235,000 students in K through 12 education. We have 20,000 on Hope, so we spend a lot of time on that 20,000. We need to talk about this 235,000. So when I look at public education, and particularly at the county boards of education, they really have a tough go at it right now. Every year we have less students coming in the system. Has nothing to do with maybe a teeny bit to do with Hope, but it has to do with we're having less children, right? The families have less children. That's not a state problem. That's a nationwide, that's a worldwide problem. So every year we know there's 3,000 or 4,000 less students coming in the system every year. We don't have a plan for that. We don't want to even talk about that. We have to give a plan that looks forward, looks 4 or 5 years forward, 10 years forward, and say, okay, in 5 years, this is how many students we'll have in each county. Now, what's our plan to affect that? What's our plan to help these counties educate the children? Because if you have 100 kids in school, you have 80 children in school, it costs the same amount of money if you're running that school. We like to do Band-Aids, and I think one of the reasons is that we don't have a big, robust discussion is this is hard. So it's easy to do, this little bill, that little bill. This is hard stuff, but our children deserve it. Our parents deserve it. We have to help our county boards of education. All they can do is react. Here's the amount of money coming in. Now I got to react, right? I got to make a decision, but they don't have the information to make long-range decisions. Then when you think about the regulations, we not only give them a certain amount of money, now we tell them how to spend it. We tell them how many of this you got to have and how many of that you got to have. Every county's different. And so we've got to get rid of this top-down Charleston situation that we have and help our county boards of education. I think that's one of the biggest issues. Jobs and public ed, I think, are the two biggest issues that we should be focused on. I think it's a responsibility of state government. I think we dropped the ball this time.
What killed Team West Virginia, Larry? Why couldn't we do that?
I think that the other two branches of government didn't. The other two, not the Senate and the governor, didn't want them. And if you look at the numbers, I mean, you don't have to look very far, but if you go and you look at the activity of the Western Economic Development Authority in, say, 2024 versus 2025, you'll see a dramatic drop-off in the activity. You'll see a dramatic drop-off in the things that need to be done to bring jobs to West Virginia. I think you'll see a different tone. So what the House said is, hey, we've got to professionalize this, number one, and number two, we can't afford 6 months drop-off when administration, or 6 to 9 months drop-off when administrations change. So it's just basically what we have in West Virginia is we have this top-down structure where basically everything has to go through the governor's office. That's what holds us back, and economic development is one of those things that has to go through the governor's office. From my viewpoint, the governor didn't want to give up that power. He worked against it, so the bill didn't pass.
State Treasurer Larry Pack joining us on MetroNews Talkline this morning. Larry, more of a philosophical question to you. There is certainly a fracture within the Republican supermajority. It seems to be more on the Senate side than the House side, but there's certainly a fracture there. And from the conversations we've had on air and off air, the main issue seems to be a lack of leadership. Where does that leadership need to come from?
Well, again, if you have a top-down system where most things have to go through the governor's office, I think it has to go through there. I think it's basically that office's responsibility to bring the leaders of both houses together and come up with a plan before the session is executed or begins, and then work that session. That's what the Governor Justice did for all those years. That's what previous governors have done. You remember Senator or Governor Manchin back in the day. They've got to get everybody around the table, right? Let's figure out what the big issues of the day are, and let's go work them. He might not work them from my side of the hour, but he worked them. That's what you have to do. So without leadership, as you hit a lot of singles, right? And then I think the other thing is without leadership, you take credit for things you had nothing to do with because you have nothing else to talk about. We live in the greatest state in the union. There's no question. We have the best people in the union. But we need jobs, and we need to face up to some of the challenges we have. Every place has challenges. But the idea that anybody could look at this last session and think that we addressed the big challenges of West Virginia, I think it's really hard to make that case.
How important is this next midterm election? And it'll be the primary, which independents are now locked out of, by the way, as you well know. But how important is this next primary toward writing that leadership stake that you talk about? And how will we know who's in it for the right reasons and who's in it for the wrong reasons?
Well, one thing we admire about our forefathers is how they disseminated power, from the federal government, state government, to counties and cities. So I think these elections are going to be important. I think they're really fascinating. But I think what I hope happens is when we elect the new state senate, the new House of Delegates, that they understand that they're running for House of Delegates and running for state senate. That they're not running to run for mayor. They're not running for board of education. They're not running for county commission. They're running for things that has to do with the state. And let the mayors be mayors, and let the county commissioners be county commissioners. Let the board of education run the board of education, and let the legislators deal with the big challenges of the day. That's what I'm hoping we'll get. But every supermajority is always fractured. There's no such thing as a cohesive supermajority anywhere in a democracy. I guess in North Korea you would get that at 99.3%. I think his election results last week. But in a democracy, supermajorities are always going to be fractured. You got different people that have different ideas, and those ideas are not bad. But eventually, leadership has to bring those ideas together in something cohesive that makes sense to move the state forward. That's what we haven't had the last couple of years. That's what I'm hoping we'll have when the legislature comes back next January.
State Treasurer Larry Pack. Larry, we appreciate you joining us this morning. Thank you so much.
All right, have a good day. Enjoy March Madness.
Well. You as well. Take care. At WV Medicine Heart and Vascular Institute, excellence is not just a promise, it is proven. Our advanced heart surgery program ranks among the top 3% in the nation by the Society of Thoracic Surgeons and was named a high-performing hospital by U.S. News & World Report with multiple areas of distinction. In medicine, we lead with world-class outcomes and groundbreaking procedures. Visit wvmedicine.org/heart. Talkline continues in a moment.
For over 30 years, High Technology Foundation has been committed to building a stronger West Virginia. Our mission, economic diversification. By fostering innovation and supporting tech initiatives, we pave the way for a brighter future. From cutting-edge research to tech-driven solutions, we're transforming the landscape. Join us in creating opportunities and driving progress. Let's build a diverse economy together. Visit WVHTF.org. High Technology Foundation, shaping West Virginia's future.
Worried about paying for college? MetroNews is proud to present the 19th Annual West Virginia Scholar Program, where one high school junior in West Virginia will win a full scholarship to West Virginia Wesleyan College, including room, board, tuition, and fees. For details, go to wvmetronews.com and click the Apply Now button. Deadline is May 3rd. The 2026 West Virginia Scholar Program, presented by Greer Industries and the West Virginia Hospital Association. Go to wvmetronews.com and apply today by May 3rd.
Looking for a career that truly matters? Healthcare offers stability, great benefits, and careers that are in demand right now. From patient care to technology and support roles, healthcare careers offer flexibility and opportunity. Not sure where you fit? Take the quick healthcare career quiz at explorehealthcareerswv.com. Discover the path that's right for you. Healthcare careers, where passion meets purpose.
Picture a community where every space tells a story. Those are the communities we're designing at ZLM Architects and Engineers. With a blend of creativity and technical expertise, we design spaces that inspire, innovate, and ignite change. From cutting-edge educational facilities to community-centric gathering spaces, we're committed to improving lives through design. Let us help you shape a brighter future for generations to come. Because at ZLM, it's more than architecture. It's about building your legacy.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
It all comes down to this in Charleston. The 2026 West Virginia Boys High School Basketball State Championships presented by Chick-fil-A. Saturday, March 21st. Every possession, every roar of the crowd, every championship moment. Live on Metro News Television, powered by GoMart. Watch on mobile, Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, LG TV, and select Samsung Smart TVs. Details at WVMetroNewsTV.com to get in the action. Stay connected to what's happening today in West Virginia.
What about this, or what about that? And it just went back and forth. And I was just the guy reading the text. Okay, so what's your take on the whole thing?
Well, now you just get me fired up. Now
right.
you just
so I'm gonna turn on. I'm gonna run down to Wendy's and grab a burger, and I'll be back.
Join Dave Allen weekdays for midday on Metro News Television.
When I was heavy, being on my feet all day seemed like torture. Makes you feel defeated. I'm just gonna be like this for the rest of my life. But then I thought, I'm done acting like that. I'm not gonna be like that anymore. Bariatric surgery at WVU Medicine helped me lose 265 pounds. It's always been my goal to have my own place. I want everyone to feel welcome here. I would never have been able to do all these things before without WVU Medicine.
On the next State of Minds.
I came here to Morgantown, the WVU. I wanted to play football. Tried to walk on, but I was humbled very quickly. So I joined the WVU forestry team. What my father taught me was the importance of hard work and the importance of sweat equity.
Virginia.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose
businesses. Avoid risky connections with proactive monitoring, threat detection, and expert local support. Learn more at citynet.net today. Let's go to Fox News Radio's Jared Halpern. in Washington, D.C. for the latest. Jared, good morning. The conflict in Iran obviously continues. The Iranians striking a major natural gas field in Qatar. What is the latest from Capitol Hill and the White House?
Well, that's a big issue, is this kind of escalation now of energy infrastructure targets. And the Israelis took out part of an Iranian oil field. President Trump putting out a statement overnight early this morning that the United States was not a part of that, did not know about it. He says it won't happen again unless Iran targets energy infrastructure in the Gulf. And if so, the president says he would order the decimation of those Iranian oil infrastructure fields. And listen, this is significant because we talk about the Strait of Hormuz, and that's one of the reasons that oil oil prices and gasoline prices are up. But the other reason is that a lot of these refinery plants, a lot of these oil facilities, these natural gas facilities around the Middle East have either had to close or are operating on a more limited basis because of the threat of those strikes. And the more disruption there is, whether it is in Iran or anywhere else, the more it is going to impact those oil prices. Remember, oil is a global commodity. So even if the United States does not rely on oil transiting through the Strait of Hormuz or from the global supply, and that will have a major impact on the price of a barrel around the world. And certainly we're seeing that in the gas prices, which I saw, I think today are up almost 90 cents from just a month ago.
Up big. Scott Bessent reports that he is saying that the U.S. may consider additional releases from the oil reserve.
Yeah, generally that happens with G7 partners. So you have seen other G7 countries kind of coordinate that, and I do think that is something that will happen. But again, even those releases aren't making up for everything that is not getting released. So it can help. It can maybe slow down the rate of the increase of prices, but it's unlikely to bring down prices again because countries, the United States, other G7 partners, Japan, that have these petroleum reserves aren't going to deplete them. They are kind of strategic in the way that they release them. Again, they try and coordinate it, again, to get the global supply up. And remember, every time the United States does that, they have to replenish it. It has to be restocked, and they try and time that to when oil prices are back down to a much more affordable price. But we don't know how long this energy crunch is going to last.
Fox News Radio's Jared Halpern from Washington, D.C. with the latest. Jared, thank you very much. We appreciate it as always.
Sure thing.
Let's get in a couple of texts here before the break. 304-TALK 304. Trump is considering unsanctioning Iranian oil. He screwed up the oil market so bad that he needs to let his enemy make money to fund their regime so he doesn't take a hit on gas prices at home. What a moron, says the texter. If wounded Iran still has capabilities they have, think in 3 to 4 years of Iran military not addressed, think devastation they would be capable of. I don't like war either, but also in 6 to 8 years, don't want my grandsons blown up. I don't say that lightly, says the texter. That's why I said if you go into this, you got to go into it.
Yeah.
You got to finish it.
Halpern talked about gas prices. Wholesale a month ago, $2 a gallon, trading this morning at $3.19 a gallon.
This is Talkline on Metro News. Metro News for 40 years, the voice of West Virginia.
West Virginia Metro News, I'm Jeff Jenkins. It's all about logistics. There's a lot of planning going on with WVU set to host a NCAA women's basketball tournament opening round for the first time. WVU Police Lieutenant Jeff Wright says it's going to be a team effort to help during a couple of busy days.
We expect to have approximately 40 officers on duty during the NCAA tournament just to cover shift. We also have a baseball game going on Saturday. We also have multiple units from the state police, Morgantown Police Department, and Star City Police assisting with these events.
The WVU women play Miami of Ohio Saturday evening at 5 before what's expected to be a sellout crowd. A teachers union leader says he's thankful discussions has at least started among state lawmakers to change the state school aid funding formula, but that's a long way from solving the issues. Education West Virginia co-president Dale Lee says it's probably good the House bill didn't receive final approval in the way it left the House.
I believe we need to really go to the table and look at what we can do for the funding formula. But just saying this block grant solves all the problems, that doesn't solve all the problems. You still have the problems that I just mentioned of making sure that you're operating the school system.
Meanwhile, Marion County School Superintendent Donna Heston says her county has fewer students and a lot of buildings.
Marion County operating 21 buildings with below 7,000 students for the first time in its history is an obstacle that we absolutely are up against a wall.
You're listening to Metro News for 40 years, the voice of West Virginia.
Come on, Liam, let's go. Get open. Come on, go for it. Wake up, Liam. Oh, come on, use your head. Gotta want it. Dominate.
There he goes again. Liam's dad yelling from the stands, trying to relive his glory days.
I know. We're just trying to have fun out here and play with our friends. It's not that deep.
He seriously needs to get a grip.
Does he really think he's helping Liam play better?
I feel bad for Liam. I know he's embarrassed his dad ruins every game like this. I mean, I would be too.
Someone needs to tell him this isn't about him.
Yeah, stop trying to coach from the stands and just cheer.
That's what Liam wants.
That's what we all want.
Be your student's biggest fan, not their biggest critic. This message presented by the WVSSAC and the West Virginia Athletic Directors Association.
Grafton High School band director Christopher Rucker will be on probation for a year for not reporting the sexual assault of a student. When he learned about it, he pleaded Wednesday guilty to failure to report. Part of his sentence is to speak to Faculty Senates about the law. The big schools are playing today in the boys high school basketball tournament in Charleston. That's Quad A teams, 4 opening round games. Catch the streaming audio, game stories, video highlights, photo galleries of all 6 games today at WVMetroNews.com. From the Metro News Anchor Desk, I'm Jeff Jenkins.
.304 Talk, 304 is the text line, 800-765-8255. The question about the Iranian war is absurd. Your answer, you don't know what the president's privy to. We're all pretty, I think it's supposed to be privy to the fact that this is egged on by Israel. They're the ones that started it and then looped us in, and then the president and PD, so eager to get in and show their might, said, yeah, let's go. It'll only take a couple of days. There was no privy information. It was reactionary, and that's what the military is talking about, reactionary. It's going to be a long, hard battle, I think, said the texter.
How do you know that besides listening to what Tucker Carlson has to say? How do you substantiate that? Give me a source. Give me something. How do you know that? Look, we're trying to be honest with people. I don't know what is discussed in the Pentagon.
Sure.
I don't know what CENTCOM knows. I don't know what the president knows. I mean, do you want to hear what you want to hear just to hear it? Or do you want the truth of the matter? And aside from Tucker Carlson and his spouting on that, how do you prove that Israel drug us into this not knowing? And I mean, it's a fascinating narrative. Could it be true? I guess anything can be true. But how do you prove it? How do you substantiate it?
I agree. I go back. I'm not a foreign policy expert. I don't have the information. Do I have concerns and trepidation? Sure, just like everybody else does. It's war. It is ugly. It is costly, both financially and with life. But if we're going to get into it, like I said, you've got to see it through to the end. You can't leave Iran the capabilities of coming back and retaliating 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the road, because they play the long game. Mm-hmm. The terrorists play the long game when it comes to enacting revenge and retaliation. And they will if you don't complete the job and install a government that works, or at least give the people an opportunity to take their country back.
And that may be the reality. We may have to cripple their ability to do war, cripple their ability to produce a nuclear weapon, and that just may end up being the reality. You may not see regime change. You may not see a friendly government. And guess what? You will have to go back in and do it again in 10 years, as long as these people are who they are and have the culture that they have. We have forgotten, because we haven't been directly faced really since World War II. We were talking off air with the reality that freedom is not free. We have forgotten that as a society, because since the Greatest Generation, we haven't had to personally sacrifice for it.
And you need to have some civil discourse if you're going to talk about these weighty issues.
Yes.
See what I did there?
I see.
An institution that is all about having civil discourse is the Stubblefield Institute. It will be hosting an event coming up March 31st, Data Centers in Our Backyard, Infrastructure and Jobs, Infrastructure, and Community Impact. That's going to be held at the Byrd Center for Congressional History at Shepherd University coming up on the 31st. Ashley Horst joins us from the Stubblefield Institute with more. Good morning, Ashley.
Good morning, and I appreciate the segue.
Yeah, well, you know, once in a while we land on a pretty good transition. Doesn't happen all the time around here. So we appreciate you coming on. Hey, data centers are going to be a hot topic for a while because we are trying to attract them to West Virginia. They bring the possibility of jobs and tax revenue, but also, like any issue, not in my backyard, Ashley. So what are we going to be talking about during the event on the 31st?
Absolutely. So as we know, data centers from our Ohio border to the Eastern Panhandle are springing up and being encouraged at the state level. And so what this event specifically does is bring different parties together. We have Kara Keys, who's the Jefferson County Commissioner, Amy Margulies, who's the Executive Director of Tucker United, which is a citizens advocacy group that is asking some hard questions about data centers. We have Chris Morris, who is the director of the Governor's Data Economy Office, which is part of the West Virginia Department of Economic Development. And then finally, we have Dado Sprizak, who is the Executive Vice President of Utility Innovation for QTS, which is the company building the data center at the Berkeley-Jefferson County line. And this conversation will be moderated by Steve Pearson, who is the editor of Observer Weekly and has done a good bit of deep dive journalism on data centers and the state. So we're bringing these different perspectives together, giving the public an opportunity to submit their questions to shape the discussion, and then let us have an honest conversation about it.
Talk about the importance of coming into this discussion with an open mind. I feel like a lot of people are dug in on this topic, even if they don't fully understand it.
Absolutely. I think the key that you just said is that many of us don't fully understand it. We don't understand what the impact of this is on energy, on water. We don't know exactly what kind of jobs are going to be generated or not. And there's a lot of misinformation or disinformation out there that we really would like to have an opportunity to clear up. We also want transparency. We want transparency from our elected officials. We want transparency from the companies who are building these data centers. So that way we can understand and make informed decisions to the best of our ability on how our communities respond.
Ashley Horst is joining us from the Stubblefield Institute. They'll be hosting an event on March 31st, Data Centers in Our Backyard, Jobs, Infrastructure, and the Community Impact. Where do you suppose much of the trepidation and anxiousness for the public comes from when it comes to these data centers? Because you see a lot of stories about them. You see a lot of folks who are very leery of them. Where do you suppose that comes from?
From what I'm hearing in the community, much of the concern is around the infrastructure and whether these areas have the infrastructure in place to provide appropriate water, to provide appropriate electrical support. And then you also have the impact on the environment. I know I think it was 2 weeks ago, it was announced that in Berkeley County they're building a data center on, I think it's 549 acres. And that's farmland, and that's literally in people's backyard who have never had this type of industry so close to their homes. And so there are also health concerns. So I think the purpose of this conversation is really to get good information out and give people the opportunity to ask questions. And we are taking questions in advance. We will not be taking live questions that night. because we really want to have the opportunity to see what people want to hear about and put those questions together in a conversation that makes the most of the time and the experience that we have on this panel. And so people can submit their questions by going to our website, StubblefieldInstitute.org, and we will take all of those questions and use them to shape the discussion for the 31st.
Do I need tickets to attend? How do I attend the event?
So that's the tricky part. We actually had all of the tickets reserved to this event within 15 hours of announcing it. So we do not have any more tickets left for this event. However, people who want to listen in or watch can do so live with West Virginia Metro News. And so MetroNews TV will be airing the discussion live, and it will be streaming online, and it will also be on several radio stations.
The event is Data Centers in Our Backyard, Jobs, Infrastructure, and Community Impact. It'll be March 31st at the Byrd Center for Congressional History at Shepherd University. You can watch it on the MetroNews TV app. I'm sure you've already downloaded it and you're watching this program right now, or you're listening in one of our great radio affiliates across the state. We'll have coverage on the MetroNews Radio Network and again on the MetroNews TV app, March 31st, 6 p.m. Ashley Horst with Stubblefield Institute. Good luck with the event. Looking forward to the discussion.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We'll get to your text coming up next. 304-TALK-304. That's the text line. You can give us a call as well. 800-765-TALK, 800-765-8255. Not as cold as it's been the last couple of days, but it still is not boating season, so there is still time to prepare properly by going to LewindelMarineSales.com and checking out all of the great deals on pontoon and fishing boats so you are prepared when the weather breaks and it's time to hit the rivers and lakes. It's LewindelMarineSales.com. Lew Windle Marine Sales. We sell family fun. Your text next. Boy, there was too much rhyming in that last segment. This is Talkline from the Encove Insurance Studios.
Tens of thousands of hardworking West Virginians earn their living in our state's growing natural gas industry, including thousands for Antero Resources, West Virginia's top natural gas producer. Antero's investments are boosting our local workforce and small businesses. We're proud to give back and invest locally to support West Virginia workers producing West Virginia energy. But the Mountain State's best days are ahead, and Antero Resources is just getting started. Visit AnteroResources.com to learn more.
The WVU Medicine Medical and Surgical Weight Loss Center offers a comprehensive surgical program to help you obtain a healthy weight and improve your quality of life. Our nationally recognized bariatrics program has a strong focus on pre-surgery education and long-term weight loss after surgery. We're here to help you every step of the way. Reserve your spot at the next free no-obligation information session by calling 304-293-1728.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
For over 4 decades, we've been rooted deep inside West Virginia. Through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses. Proudly serving your neighborhood since 1979. Your trusted partner in the community.
The health plan. We are here for you.
Every day in West Virginia, we play for something bigger.
As a mom, I play for her education.
I play because it helps provide care for the ones who care for us.
I play to help keep our parks beautiful.
Why I play? Because every play supports West Virginia's future, our students, our seniors, and our state parks. For 40 years, proceeds from the West Virginia Lottery have totaled nearly $13.7 billion. I play. 18 plus to play. Play responsibly.
When my shift ends, I hang up my hard hat and head home, proud of the work we're doing here in West Virginia. Natural gas is more than energy. It's jobs, investment, and opportunity across our state. We put safety first and deliver reliable energy families and businesses count on. For families like mine, it means steady work and a stronger future. West Virginia Natural Gas, fueling communities today and building tomorrow.
This message is brought to you by the Gas and Oil Association of West Virginia.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
With MetroNews Hotline. If it's trending, it's probably here.
And then the other thing, his last name is one of those weird Norwegian names where they have two vowels that slam into each other. It's like the A and the E are like cemented into each other.
You're like the 12th Dave that works here. What do you think people from Norwegian think about that?
That is fair.
Join Dave Weekly and Coop weekdays for Hotline on MetroNews Television.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Got the Class Single A semifinals going on at the boys basketball state tournament as we speak, and looks like a good one. Tucker County and Tug Valley facing off. I think they play every year. There might have been a bill at the Senate when we missed it that they have to play every year at the state tournament.
Mandated, huh?
But they got a good one going on. 18-17 second quarter over at the Coliseum. Of course, we got your coverage at WVMetroNews.com. I promised you texts. I will give you texts. 304-TALK, 304. Texter says, Marco Rubio basically said Israel made us do it, get into the war with Iran. Okay. Do you really believe that? Do you really believe that? Because I don't. Donald Trump, from everything we know publicly, TJ, is there anything anybody can make him do, first of all?
No.
I don't know. And if Benjamin Netanyahu met with President Trump, this I can say with a fair amount of confidence, and said, we are going to go to a war with Iran, and Trump did not want to be part of that conflict or did not think it was a good idea. And look, I'm not condoning his decision. I'm just telling you this is what I think happens. He would have said, no, you're not, because Israel can't do it without us. Israel could not take on that conflict without the U.S.'s support.
That entire narrative is infotainment used to drive clicks and views. It is political kayfabe, as far as I'm concerned, until somebody substantiates it.
Political kayfabe. I love it. I don't love it, but I love the description there. Retired boomer here, says the texter. I can remember the gasoline shortage of 1979, Jimmy Carter versus Iran. All energy was in short supply. You got in line for gasoline, depending on odd or even, according to the last number of your license plate. Every politician promised it would never happen again, but I think we are on the verge of it happening again. We were told to turn thermostats down to conserve energy for heat or cooling. Interstate travel was limited to 55 miles per hour. We have not learned from history. Boots on the ground. It's going to happen again. During the Gulf War, we were told, you can't win unless you put boots on the ground. I ask any politician, which is it? Asks the texter.
There should be a serious conversation in this country about our refining capacity. And should we retool our refineries in this country to be able to process the type of crude that we have domestically? The spread between domestic oil to international oil is spreading. Yes, both are up, but $97 for U.S. oil versus $112 for international oil. Should we retool some of that capacity? That's a serious conversation that needs to happen as a result of this and other turmoil. We're always going to have turmoil internationally.
Mm-hmm. Dave and TJ, if France and some other countries make their peace, then Iran allows those countries' tankers through the strait. Will the U.S. stop them? Asks the texter. Venezuela, Iran, next Cuba. Go Trump. MAGA, says the texter. Yes, like your guest said, you replenish the oil reserves when the price of oil is low. But the Democrats voted against Trump doing that when prices were very low per barrel. WTF. If you want people to come and stay in West Virginia, fix the infrastructure, clean out the ditches everywhere. This could be a beautiful state. Right now, it's a dump, says the texter. There's something to that. There's simple things that can be done that we don't do. Does that draw in economic development? No, but you can do the simple things like mow the ditch. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, we just don't have enough of a tax base to do it. You and I have talked all the time. Drive into eastern Kentucky. Their roads are pristine.
Hey, what happened to, maybe this is a question for somebody. We got to ask, what happened to the crews from the prisons that would weed-eat hillsides and mow ditches? Is that still a thing? That's a work release program, isn't it?
I have not seen one of those crews in some time. That doesn't mean they don't still do it.
I can remember growing up in St. Mary's when they opened the minimum security prison there, which is on the north end of the county. Like all of a sudden, the hillsides were all mowed, the ditches were all mowed. Well, they had the prison gang out.
So I'm going to show you my ignorance. Do we still do that if you're getting state benefits? I know we talked about it, I think, at one point. But, if you're getting a check, you're on assistance, give back. Go work at the DOH or go do, what would be wrong with that?
I don't know. 304 Talk 304. More of your texts coming up in just a moment. We'll wrap things up for a Thursday edition. The West Virginia Lottery is coming to a town near you with the Back to Roots promotion tour. 40 stops means 40 chances to win. Every $5 in-store purchase gets an entry for a chance to win cash and great prizes. So put your best 80s gear on and join the tour. Visit WVLottery.com for details. 18 plus to play. Please play responsibly.
Coal-based generation remains the backbone of West Virginia's energy portfolio, ensuring reliability, security, and affordable electricity throughout the region. Our coal plants are engineered for performance, designed to run most efficiently at or near a 70% capacity factor. This level of operation is not arbitrary. It's based on sound engineering principles, scientific analysis, and has been formally adopted by the West Virginia legislature as a reasonable target for optimal performance. When our coal fleet operates near that benchmark, it provides stable power to the grid, maintains cost efficiency, and supports thousands of good-paying jobs across our state. Coal generation also drives local tax revenue that sustains schools, infrastructure, and community services. Working in partnership with state leaders and the Trump administration, we're ensuring that our coal fleet remains modern, efficient, and ready to power West Virginia and beyond for decades to come. This message brought to you by the West Virginia Coal Association and Friends of Coal.
Welcome back, class of 2011.
Most likely to be a millionaire, didn't quite make it.
Hey, reunion's not over yet.
Over here, millionaire, smile.
Make room, people.
Who is that?
Congratulations to our very own Millionaire for Life. Never too late, man.
You could win up to $1 million every year with Millionaire for Life. Play in store or online today. West Virginia Lottery. 18 plus to play. Play responsibly.
At Glenville State University, we are pioneers. With over 45 undergraduate degree programs, 17 NCAA athletic teams, and countless campus organizations and activities, we're here to help you build your story while becoming a part of ours. Glenville State University, your dream, your future, your story. Visit glenville.edu today for more information.
You're listening to Talkline on MetroNews, the voice of West Virginia.
Longer days, warmer drives, and better deals at Dan Cava GMC. Hit the road in one of our new luxury GMC Acadias. Take your pick from our massive selection. Now up to $5,500 off select new Acadias and 3.9% for 60 months. The great deals continue with our large selection of quality pre-owned vehicles. All this and more at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop the world.
Download MetroNews Television on your iPhone or Android. Search Metro News Television in your app store. Create an account today to get alerts and watch all live and archived content. Download now.
Touchdown! We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
It all comes down to this in Charleston. The 2026 West Virginia Boys High School Basketball State Championships presented by Chick-fil-A. Saturday, March 21st. Every possession, every roar of the crowd, every championship moment. Live on Metro News Television, powered by GoMart. Watch on mobile, Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, LG TV, and select Samsung Smart TVs. Details at WVMetroNewsTV.com to get in the action.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong.
Just a reminder, May 3rd is the application deadline for the 19th Annual West Virginia Scholar Program. So if you have a child who's a junior in high school in West Virginia or know someone that does, tell them, go to WVMetroNews.com, go to the Apply Now button, and you can apply for a full scholarship from West Virginia Wesleyan College that includes room, board, tuition, and fees. The 19th Annual West Virginia Scholar Program is presented by ZMM Architects and Engineers and the West Virginia Farm Bureau. Deadline to apply is May 3rd. WVMetroNews.com for details. Again, deadline to apply is May 3rd. Did get a text into the bat phone, by the way.
Okay.
There may or may not have been a bill to make sure Tucker County and Tug Valley play every year at the state tournament. We'll have to double source that one from a smart aleck senator.
Yeah. Well, who killed it? There you go. Start that. Who killed it?
I almost responded to that, but I'm going to stop.
Okay.
With 1 minute and 40 seconds left in the show.
Good.
Texter says, yes, TJ. Been saying this for years. I don't know what you said, but they liked it.
Stick with me. You'll go far.
Every light switches at our elementary schools had orange stickers on them that said, do your part, please turn off the lights when you leave the room. Talking about the 70s energy crisis there.
We should still do that today. Bills would be, you laugh, bills would be cheaper because you wouldn't need as much a capacity if people would use electricity and conserve.
Are you the dad that goes through the house, have to turn off light switches?
You're darn tootin'. You're darn tootin'. That's why my electric bill's not as high either.
Who changed the thermostat?
Don't get me started. I'm serious though. If people would conserve more and not waste, we would not need as much capacity as we currently have in this country, and prices would be lower.
Have you uttered the words, we can't air condition the outside?
Yeah. Also, were you born in a barn? Shut the door.
304 Talk, 304. The prisoners went on strike, so they did away with the program, says the texter. Okay. Federal corrections still have release camps for inmates. There's one in Preston County. Follow the news of the day at WVMetroNews.com. We'll talk to you tomorrow at 10:06. Talkline on Metro News. For 40 years, the voice of West Virginia.